hospital porter's pride and dignity stopped the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. Well, we're staying at the Travelodge in Swindon, one of the premier hotels in this city. And let me just show you around. It's very nice here, as you can see. Very nice. Hello. That's where we're staying. We just got home. It's been a bit of an exhausting evening. Of course, I've got a lot to tell you about. Graham Hancock was there. Now, he's a brilliant speaker. Talks about spiritual matters and ancient history and things like that. And he talked about what he believes is the demiurge and how it's been worshipped. Now, he interprets the demiurge as the dark force, like Satan. And he says that the modern religions as we know them, are products of demiurge worship. And that the Gnostics, things that people like Cathars and the ancient Egyptians, were truly spiritual and worshipped the Godhead, Now, I interpret it slightly differently. I get the feeling that, the religions say that they worship the God Jehovah, or Allah as the Muslims call him, and then there's just that one and Satan. Now, the Gnostics, like the Cathars, believe in another god, a third deity they call him Rex Mundi, but he goes under other names, like the demiurge, like Metatron, like Lucifer is another name, probably the most well-known name for this deity. Metatron is what Philip Pullman calls it in his Dark Materials novels, which are well worth reading if you haven't already read these brilliantly philosophical novels. And that the thing is, Graham doesn't talk about the Illuminati and conspiracies, but he does kind of really. Do you know what I mean? He calls them. He doesn't use the same terminology, but he's talking about the same thing really. And he also talks about the atheists like Richard Dawkins and how the materialistic world, the materialistic view, is just another of these religions. And again, that's very perceptive because that is exactly what Dawkins does. He has what he's doing is effectively a belief system. And he says he goes along with these ideas that the Amazon Indians, and he's drunk ayahuasca, and it's a big subject, too big to cover in this film, but the Amazon Indians they say that we've lost our connection to spirit. Now, again, Graham Hancock doesn't see this as a conspiracy as such. I do. Now, this is echoed in the last speaker there. He was Anthony Peake. Now, Anthony Peake. Pardon me. You didn't hear that, did you? Anthony Peake talked about the similar thing, which was that there was there's this divorce. We're locked into materialism, and that there's no conspiracy, scientists, according to him, but they're just doing it because to preserve their paradigm. Well, there is a conspiracy. It is a conspiracy really, because they're deliberately trying to keep this information away from us. Now, Anthony Peake's a very interesting guy because he's a proper scientist who studies things like near-death experiences and other stuff like that. Very, very interesting man. And he also talked about this thing it's called Lucia 3. And it is actually a way of inducing an out-of-body experience or altered state of consciousness. And it involves a flashing strobe light. And I'm not sure what all the details were, but there was these guys from Germany who had this kind of tent up in the merchandise area. And what they were doing is, you go into this tent and they flash this flashing strobe light in your eyes, and apparently it induces an altered state of consciousness. We didn't manage to get on there, and basically the list was full up, so we went up there to try and get on there. Unfortunately, we couldn't for that because, like I said, it was all booked up, and that was a bit disappointing. Staying was particularly disappointed about this, but from what we heard, it wasn't sort of like the ideal set or setting anyway. But I did manage to speak to someone who actually had an experience in that chamber, and I'm going to interview her tomorrow, and we did a little experiment which I'll explain in our interview. But anyway, I'm going to have to go to bed now because I'm tired, so see you tomorrow. Night night.